Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to HIMediaTV. I'm your host, Evan from HIMediaTV, and welcome back to HIMedia Headlines for today, Thursday, August 6th, 2026. I apologize for there not being any episodes in the last week. I'm on the last stretch of my old job working until I start my new job on Monday, so it's been a little bit of an ordeal. But you're not here for that. You're here for the news. The news on question today being video game maker EA has been bought by Saudi-led group for $55 billion. Okay, so those present are aware that I am very much not a fan of the Saudis for a myriad of different reasons. But that being said, I don't think this is listen. It's kind of like when Activision Blizzard was bought by Xbox. Hindsight is 2020, and by and large, I think, devastating industry job loss and, cut of many very, very, very popular projects notwithstanding, I, believe it or not, still think that the acquisition by Xbox was better overall for the IPs and the company of Activision Blizzard compared to being owned by Bobby Kotick, the devil him fucking self. Even so, I do think that ultimately this might be a good thing, believe it or not, despite my disdain for the Saudis, their hyper-repressive regime, their authoritarianism, and general ickiness. I do think that the leadership at EA is so bad and so awful for the IPs under their belt that this unironically might have a chance of being better, because part of it is the Saudis are more interested in influence peddling than they are necessarily in profit. Their country prints money because of oil. Now, granted, things in the oil market aren't particularly fan-fucking-tastic right now, but that's a episode of Little Black Book we've talked about immensely. Even so, I do generally speaking feel like this could be okay, just because the Saudis might use this as an opportunity to sort of do away with some of the microtransactions and stuff in a lot that EA has been pushing and try and win some goodwill and use this as a method of winning goodwill in the West. It'll probably work because a lot of chuds are cheap, but que sera, sera. I don't know. I think in the short term, obviously for macro political reasons, this is going to suck because it's going to help rehabilitate the Saudis' image and, the fact that they, did 9/11, but I digress. Point being, at least as far as a gaming industry, gaming consumer advocate standpoint, this has the potential to be good. Now, there is the notion of Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, being part of one of the firms that bought it. He was only 5 or 6%, nowhere near enough of an influence to be able to genuinely matter. But given the influence peddling going on at the highest levels of the American government, that might not fucking matter. So who fucking knows? Anyways, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this episode of High Media Headlines for today, August the 6th, 2026. We appreciate your time and your listenership. If you like this episode, join our Discord. We got a great community and we'd love to have you. Link in the description. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, this has been High Media TV. I have been your host. I'm from High Media TV, and I will see you guys next time.